G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we are going to be talking about why Jesus called the Canaanite woman a dog. So let's get right into it. So in the Gospel of Matthew, it seems to imply that Jesus is calling the Canaanite woman a dog. What do you think about that, and how should we interpret this particular passage?
Yeah, it's a really good passage of Scripture, and it's a unique passage of Scripture because of where Jesus is. And I think Jesus was testing her faith, and I think when we look at this word dog, it's not as derogatory as what we actually think it is. So why don't we go verse by verse through Matthew's account in Matthew chapter 15, and we'll go through it verse by verse, verses 21 to 28. Why don't you begin by reading for us verse 21.
And going away from there, Jesus withdrew into the district of Tyre and Sidon.
Now this is interesting because this is the only time recorded in the Gospels where Jesus leaves the land of Israel. And here he's entered into a Gentile land. It's obviously inhabited by Gentiles, non-Jews. And it's interesting because as you read the story, Jesus really only does one thing here, and that is he heals this woman's daughter. That's it. And then he goes back to the land of Israel, goes back to Galilee. So it seems as though Jesus is making a specifically special trip just for her. Now let's keep reading. Won't you read verse 22?
And behold, a Canaanite woman from that region came out and began to cry out, saying, Have mercy on me, Lord, Son of David. My daughter is cruelly demon-possessed.
This is really quite fascinating because here you've got Jesus in a Gentile land and a Gentile woman, right? She's a Canaanite woman. Gospel of Matthew says she's Syro-Phoenician. There's different ways to reconcile that scholars do. But the point is that she's a Gentile woman outside of the land of Israel, and she recognizes that Jesus is the Son of David. And that's a term for really the Messianic king. She recognizes that Jesus is the rightful heir to the throne of David and that he is the Messiah. So this is, quite profound for a Gentile woman in a Gentile land to look at Jesus and say this. Why don't you read verses 23 to 25?
But he did not answer her a word, and his disciples came and were pleading with him, saying, Send her away, because she keeps shouting at us. But he answered and said, I was not sent except to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But she came and was bowing down before him, saying, Lord, help me.
So here she is not only, calling him the Son of David, the Messiah, but she's actually bowing down before him, and reverencing him as Lord. So this is pretty profound. You've got this Gentile woman in this Gentile country coming after Jesus, wanting, in some translations, the King James say, worshipping him. This is pretty profound stuff here. Let's keep reading verses 26 to 27.
And he answered and said, It is not good to take the children's bread and throw it to the dogs. But she said, Yes, Lord, but even the dogs feed on the crumbs which fall from their master's table.
Now the word translated dogs here is actually puppies, right? Now Jews, they didn't keep dogs as pets. Dogs were kind of wild scavenger animals. But here she's actually, obviously in a Gentile land, and the Gentiles, they did actually keep dogs as pets. And so here he refers to her as really a puppy, right? Says it's not right to take the children's bread and throw it to the puppies. And she replies and says, Yes, Lord, but even the puppies eat the crumbs that fall from the master's table. So he's, I think, using an affectionate term to refer to her. But what's interesting is that she's recognizing the fact that the God of the Jews is the one true God. When you think of Naaman, when he came to, I think it was Elisha, and he wanted to be healed, and Elisha said, well, go and, dip yourself 7 times in the Jordan River. And he was like, the Jordan River, we've got better rivers, in Syria where we come from. But Elisha wanted him to recognize the fact that the God of the Jews is the one true God. The God of Israel is the one true God. And by dipping in that river, rather than another river, he was recognizing that the God of Israel was the one true God. And here, this is what Jesus is wanting this woman to recognize. He's wanting this woman to recognize that God, the one true God, is the God of the Jews, the God of Israel. And then he says to her in verse 28, why don't you read verse 28?
Then Jesus answered and said to her, O woman, your faith is great. It shall be done for you as you wish. And her daughter was healed at once.
So because of her great faith, she trusted in the God of Israel, she received the healing that she wanted. And really what Jesus was doing was testing and proving the genuineness of her faith. Did she truly believe in the God of Israel, or did she believe in some other gods, or did she just think that God was just the God of among many other gods? You think about it from a Muslim perspective. The Muslims just really don't want to accept that God is the God of Israel. They want to kind of create their own God. It's called Allah. God is the God of the Arabs. Ishmael, and Abraham go further back than the people of Israel, and they try to make themselves the special people. But God is wanting to test people to see if they will accept the true God, the God of Israel, Yahweh. And so I don't think he's being derogatory here. I think he's, using an affectionate term, puppies, to refer to her, and he's saying, look, the Jews have the priority. Even with the preaching in the book of Acts, Paul says, that they were sent to the Jews first and then to the Gentiles. And that's the order of things in terms of bringing the message of salvation. First to the Jews and then to the Gentiles. God is the God of Israel.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please leave us a comment below. Let us know your thoughts. Thanks so much for watching, and you'll see us again in our next video. Bye-bye.